28th NBA Betting Picks edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code NBA SGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Earn up to $750 per month on your sports betting transactions. Go to edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Rhythm is giving away a $250 future and throwing in a March Madness party. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for all the details. Welcome, everyone, to the NBA Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Friday, February 28th, the final day of the month of February as we enter March. Got a lot of games on the schedule here tonight. We'll briefly look back on what we saw in the association on Thursday night. Of course, we'll get into each and every game on the Friday card. We'll wrap it up with our lock and dog and our Underdog Fantasy entry as well. But joining me on this episode to help me break everything down happening on the hardwood, guys know myself, voice of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Prodcast, and of course here on the NBA Gambling Podcast, Lonte Smith. Lonte, what's going on, my man? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Good Friday to you and everybody else. So hoping to end the month with a bang and open up NBA March Madness, because right now it's going to be critical time in the NBA in March as well for some of these teams jockeying for position and trying to get into the play-in. Some teams trying to keep their spot in the playoffs seeding wise. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of madness in the NBA as well as college level.
Yeah, of course, March means March Madness. At the collegiate level, you'll have the conference tournaments and championships, etc., brackets, of course, but final full month of the NBA regular season in the month of March. So we still got plenty to determine as far as seeding and all that fun stuff goes in the NBA here. So, man, the season is honestly, I feel like we say this every single year, but this season just feels like it's kind of flown by in the NBA. Last night, my picks will be transparent. I'll be transparent where not even close. I had the team total over for the Dallas Mavericks against the Hornets. That one did not get there. And then I think I had I believe it was Kyrie points ladder last night. That one it wasn't even close either. So hopefully I can bounce back here tonight. Both me and Scott really did like the under in that Lakers game. I know he locked that up as his lock last night for Thursday. That did fairly easily get to the window, and forgot what his dog was last night. But I'll also say that our Underdog Fantasy got pretty close. We had the double-double for Nas Reed. We were debating between rebounds for him to go higher or just take the double-double because there was some value there. But we opted to take the double-double. We just didn't score the points last time, but did get a tweet from someone that said they just took the rebounds higher for Nas Reed, along with Giannis on his rebounds to go higher, and then Zion on his higher points. So that individual cashed on their entry there. So hopefully we can find another winning one here on the on the Friday card. Last night, Lonte, we saw the Milwaukee Bucks have a fantastic second half. They beat the Nuggets I think they closed as a 4-point home underdog, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 3.5, 4. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They get the 121-112 victory. Mavericks 103-96 over the Hornets. To nobody's shock, the Suns lose another game, 124-116. And I think the highlight of the night last night was Stephen Curry dropping 56 points, hitting 12 3-pointers against the Orlando Magic as they continue to play well with Jimmy Butler now on this roster. Barely covered the number because I think when we broke it down, it was around -5. I want to say it dipped down to 4.5 throughout the day.
Unfortunately, I had Orlando at the 4.
Oh, you had Orlando?
That number, yeah.
Yeah, because Scott had mentioned that the number opened up at, I think I want to say 6 on the overnight line.
Yeah,
and then
it was like 6.5.
Yeah, money came in on the Magic. So if you got that opening number, you would have covered, or at least pushed at minimum. But yeah, last night, Steph Curry doing Steph Curry things, 56 points last night. And As he walks off the court, he gives his jersey to his mom. That was in the stands there. So, anything stuck out to you? Oh, Anthony Edwards. We'll get to that when we talk about the Minnesota game tonight. But anything from last night, Lonte?
No, I thought a lot of competitive action because that game looked good. I mean, it looked like it wouldn't matter what number you had on Orlando. They were up, I think, like 17 in that game. Right? Yeah, and then they had Steph had a patented third quarter. And they still had a chance to kind of cover late all numbers, but they just couldn't get there. But yeah, I thought that game was competitive. I thought the Bucks Denver game was incredible on both sides of the ball. Denver fought back and they were in control, and then Milwaukee kind of did things. And I read that Giannis was going to be on a minutes restriction, so I stayed away from his props. But this was a game that I wanted to take his props, and it seemed like he played every minute. So
yeah,
kind of confusing there. But yeah, overall, I thought that pretty good night. Lakers. I missed a ton of the Lakers Wolves game, but I know the Lakers started out really hot, and then Minnesota fired back, which Lakers aren't good at holding leads. So yeah, overall, even the Dallas Charlotte game was competitive as well. I know Dallas was Charlotte was taking money actually.
Yeah,
I think it opened like 11.5, 12, and then kind of got down to like 10, 9.5. So yeah, I think overall competitive day. Hopefully we can keep that going. I think you're going to see a lot of teams play, especially the teams in the the play-in playoff mix, going to play a lot harder. So yeah.
Yeah, Giannis and Jokic last night, that was fun to watch. Those two guys combined for 60 points, 33 rebounds, and 17 assists last night between those two guys. And Bucks just pulled away in that fourth quarter in particular. So that was a really fun game to watch. All right, before we get over to the Friday night card here, gear up for March Madness with Merch Madness. Promo code MADNESS for 20% off in the SGPN store. Get in before the promo is done. Check out the first half unders t-shirts. That's a staple here at the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, playing those first half unders in the March Madness tournament for the first 2 days in the tournament. So go ahead and go over there at the merch store. Make sure you use that promo code MADNESS. You'll get 20% off in the SGPN merch store. All right, Lonte, let's get into it here tonight, man. We got a lot of games here. We'll got the first one on the board. We'll go to let me refresh this page. Yeah, all right, here we go. So we got Denver. They are on a back-to-back, as we just talked about. In the Motor City, Detroit laying 2 points here at home with a total of 237.5. Injury report for the Denver Nuggets. They do get that extra time to submit an injury report, but my guess would be I would expect at least probably Jamal Murray to sit here tonight and maybe Aaron Gordon, but keep an eye out for that. I would still expect Jokic to be out there. So, again, like I mentioned, they do get that extra time to submit that injury report to the Denver Nuggets. For the Detroit Pistons side of things, pretty clean injury report. Dennis Schroeder is probable, and then the usual suspects continue to be out for the Pistons. Pistons laying 2 points here against the Denver Nuggets here. Lonte, what are you thinking?
Yeah, tough game for me because of what you just said at the top with Jamal Murray and potentially Aaron Gordon being out. So I kind of want all hands on deck when facing this Detroit team, who's on the longest win streak they've had since 2008. So they're 8-game winning streak. They're 7-1 ATS. After they've given up, they gave up 143 to Atlanta, but since then they've held Boston and I forgot who their other opponent was, but they held both of those under 100 points. So I would probably look at Detroit if we can get confirmation that those two guys are out. If Jamal Murray is the only one that's out, I think Detroit will be the side as well. I mean, the team played back in December, and Joker and Murray combined for 71 points. Nuggets 6.5 point favorite. They closed 6.5 point favorite, 134, 121. But obviously, different team is Detroit since then. The difference, I think, in the game will be can Detroit, stop Jokic on the inside? Yeah. And by that, I mean, obviously it sounds, simplistic, but I think you got to choose whether you're going to let him score or you're going to bring the double and get the ball out of his hands, similar to what the Lakers did. I don't know if the teams were watching what the Lakers did to him to kind of limit his passing lanes and kind of force him to, score when he doesn't want to score and pass when he doesn't want to pass. So I'm interested to see how Detroit plays that. They they do struggle defending the 27th 3-point percentage defense is Detroit, and Denver's third shooting the 3 percentage-wise. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there, but I'm going to go with the over. I think both teams will be able to score regardless if it's of who's in the lineup for Denver. I mean, they've scored 125 plus in 4 of the last 6, and just mentioned they scored 134 on this exact same team. Defensive-wise, I don't think they changed. Offensively is where I think they've gotten better. So I'll go with the over if I had to make a play. I would go with Detroit, but I would like for Murray to be out if that's the case.
So just went back and looked at and Lonte, if you have the Denver schedule in front of you, or if you could pull it up.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can.
So just do me a favor, check if they played on January 3rd, and then if they played again on January 4th, and then if they played on December 27th of this season and December 28th of this season, because I just want to make sure I'm giving out the right stat.
Okay. So December 27th and 28th?
Yeah, it was a back-to-back.
Yep, Cleveland, and then they played Detroit, and then
3rd and 4th, January.
3rd and 4th, they played Spurs, but it was kind of like a home and home. So they were at home versus Spurs, and then they went to San Antonio.
Okay, so since the 2022 season for the Denver Nuggets, when they are on a back-to-back situation like they are here tonight, and they lost that first leg of a back-to-back, Denver is 11-1 straight up, 11-1 ATS. So they're taking that second game that they lost very, very seriously. So I think that if they would have won last night, you probably would have seen some of these guys sit. But I do think they have Boston on deck as well, Lonte, if I'm not mistaken, on Saturday.
Do they have?
Or is it Sunday?
Yep, Sunday.
Right?
Yep, Sunday.
So I think I would expect these guys to be out there here tonight. Because
their schedule is crazy, bro.
Yeah, they got a pretty rough schedule coming up.
Celtics, Thunder twice, Minnesota, Lakers, Warriors, Lakers, Rockets, and these are road games. Jeez. Yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt, but Jesus.
No, you're good. So I think the Denver Nuggets would be the side here for me, just looking at that. They've been very, very good coming off of a loss on back-to-back situations. And if it's just a game where they're on a back-to-back situation, since that 2022 season, 26-10 straight up, 21-15 ATS, 58.3%. They're also 20-15-1 towards the over. So I will look at the Denver side. Just want to make sure these guys are going to be in here tonight for this game. And like you mentioned, the Pistons have been playing really good basketball, especially on the defensive side. But I think this could be a matchup where they could struggle with the Joker, because Jalen Duren is a guy that does get into foul trouble early, and I'm not really confident in the depth behind him. If there is any, so Isaiah Stewart, I don't really have much confidence in to really slow down the Joker in this game. So Denver would be the play here for me. You got anything for the total?
Yeah, I like the over more than anything. If all things were equal, and I can find out that Murray and Gordon are playing, I would probably be on Denver as well, but I think it would probably close a little closer to pick. So, yeah, I would go over. I mean, Denver has no problem scoring. Like I said, 125 plus points in 4 of the last 6. And Detroit defensively has been better, but I think matchup-wise, you talked about it earlier, I think they just match up better. I think Denver matches up better with the defensive scheme that Detroit likes to run. So, yeah, I like the over.
All right. Let's get over to the next game on the schedule. We'll go with the game of the night. We've got the Cleveland Cavaliers. They are in Boston to take on the Celtics. Celtics laying 2.5 points here at home with a total of 233. Injury report, I'll start here with Cleveland. Pretty clean. Only guys that are listed are players on two-way deals. For the Boston Celtics, we have questionable tags on Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, and Luke Kornet. Kornet's personal reasons. Drew Holiday is dealing with a right hand injury, and then Jaylen Brown has a left thigh contusion. I'll mention this. Jaylen Brown did not play their last game against the Pistons. And again, Boston is coming off a loss here. But the battle for the number 1 seed with huge implications here. If the Celtics want any shot to get the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, they have to win this game. It seems like it's going to be a long shot, but because they are 6.5 games behind right now. But nonetheless, Boston hosting Cleveland 2.5 is a number here, Lonte.
Yeah, man. I just need to see more on that injury report from Boston. I think this is a Cleveland game that has been talked about for them for a while. I think Atkinson was saying, I think a reporter had asked him, or they're gonna like be vanilla offensively or defensively and like not show some of the stuff that they want to show in the playoffs. But he was, he insisted on like, no, like we got to prove that we can beat these guys, especially at home, when we're gonna have to win. I mean, if they're the one seed and they meet, they won't have to beat them at home. They could just win 4 home games, but it still would like to go in and build that confidence. They got this is the first time seeing them with DeAndre Hunter, who's been playing well for them and specifically gotten to match up with the Celtics. They've won 8. Cleveland's won 8 straight. They're 9-1 in their last 10 straight up. They performed really well on the road, 18-9 ATS. Their defense, their 3-point defense has gotten a lot better, but I mean, it's still 17th. But I think maybe if you just go back to maybe like a month ago, they were probably like 24, 25. So improvement there. But I mean, spot wise, kind of favors Boston a little bit. They got embarrassed, albeit without Jaylen Brown. And I mean, they're not really covering numbers at home. But again, this is kind of a like win. It's like 2.5. So, I mean, they're 11-17 ATS at home, but a lot of those times they're laying bigger numbers. I think if you like shrink that, shrink that sample size and put, just like one possession games type thing, I think they're a lot better ATS. I like Cleveland better at 3.5. At 2.5, probably be a pass. But I would go under the total. I think both teams defensively will be able to stymie one another. And I think we see like a low scoring affair. I think we maybe see like 105, 102 type of game. So I would play Boston and under if I had to, but I like Cleveland better at 3.5.
Yeah, so this is the third matchup between these two teams. They've split the season series thus far. December 1st, the Cavs got the victory at home 115-111. And then the Boston Celtics went back into Cleveland and got the victory there 112-105 back on February 4th. So they've both been low-scoring affairs. My gut's telling me I like the Cleveland side here, but Boston at home has been pretty good, especially since they're coming off a loss as well. That's been a very profitable angle over the past several seasons. But I think the under would be the play here for me as well, under 233. I just feel like that the Jared Allen and the Evan Mobleys of the world can really control the glass for the Cleveland Cavaliers, really limit the second chance opportunities. And I think that if the backcourt defense is able to at least slow down Jason Tatum and or Jaylen Brown, and the part that just makes me worried is that just the depth for this Boston Celtics team is just it's what's led to their success, right? Winning the championship last year, having a lot of success in the regular season. I think DeAndre Hunter is going to be a key factor. That matchup, whoever he's matched up on, my guess would be Jason Tatum. Is going to be really fun to watch. Which, kind of breaking it down here, I'm convincing myself, and I know you like the under here as well. I think that might be my favorite play, the under 233 in this game. As far as the side, I'd look at Boston. I know I said Cleveland here, but I think Boston would be the side here for me, -2.5. But it's going to be a fun game to watch. Definitely going to be having my eyes on this game for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Anything else for this game?
No, that's it.
All right, before we continue the conversation here for the Friday night card, let me tell everyone about our friends over at Edge Boost. SGPN has partnered up with Edge Boost, the premier Visa debit card for bettors. An Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS site, sweepstakes site, racetrack, or casino. Plus, you can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using your Edge Boost card. And you know your money is safe as the card is FDIC insured. The best part is no credit checks and it's completely free. Sign up today and use promo code SGPN so you get better cashback rewards and instant tier 2 status. I've been using mine at Underdog Fantasy, loading, a couple $100, using that card over on Underdog Fantasy and getting cashback rewards back on that card there. So make sure you guys get over there, use the Edge Boost card there. All you got to do is go to edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. Again, that's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet every sport, plus props for every game and the live dealer casino. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. Easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head to MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. All right, next game on the board, we'll get over to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They are in Atlanta to take on the Hawks. Thunder laying 12.5 points in this game with a total of 244.5. Injury report. Start here with the Atlanta Hawks. Jalen Johnson, of course, done for the season. Larry Nance Jr. is out as well. Let me make this image a little bit bigger. Who else is out? Trae Young is probable, and that is pretty much it. For the Oklahoma City Thunder, Isaiah Hartenstein is available. AJ Mitchell is out. And Alex Caruso is also out for this game. He has a rest designation. So you have Chet in the game. You have Isaiah Hartenstein. Of course, SGA is out there as well. Oklahoma City Thunder struggling, at least defensively, over the past two games here. They gave up 120-plus points to the Brooklyn Nets. They gave up 131 and 123 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So looking for them to tighten up the screws a little bit here on the defensive side. But nonetheless, laying 12.5 here, Lonte, on the road against the Hawks.
Yeah, man. They failed to cover OKC. That is 4 of the last 5. And I was so close to taking Brooklyn on the show Tuesday or Wednesday, but I couldn't get there. I just, like I said, I'm not in the business of fading OKC. It's either bet on or leave alone. In this spot, I'm probably just going to leave it alone again, even though Atlanta is kind of tough for me to figure out. It was 7-3 ATS last 10. They play well in certain spots, but then I think when you kind of think that, okay, you got a good vibe on them, they let you down. And in this spot, I'd be kind of tempted to stay away from them because of their 3-point defense and field goal defense. They're bottom 3 in both. And with OKC's ability to shoot the ball and to get in the paint, like their versatility scoring is unlike any other team. I think it's a bad matchup for Atlanta. So I'm looking at the Oklahoma City team total over. I would go over the 240.5. Is it 240.5? I would go over the total. I mean, they scored 125 plus in 4 straight. If you look at Atlanta, along with that 3-point defense and their field goal defense, they've allowed 148, 114, 149, and 131 in 4 of the last 5. Yeah. So I think OKC should have no problem scoring here. So let's go with the Oklahoma City team total over.
Yeah, it's always that one quarter where Oklahoma City kind of just takes off. I just, like I mentioned, I just want to see them improve on the defensive side because they've given up a lot of points in the last 3 games. I know the Brooklyn Nets. I actually laid it with the Thunder in that game against the Nets. It was just the Nets were just shooting really well from beyond the arc, and I think this is another team than the Hawks that can do that as well. So I'll be curious to see if the Oklahoma City Thunder come out and play some better defense, or it's going to be the same old story. But I like your play. What you mentioned is a Thunder team total over. I think offensively we know what this team can do. This could be a big SGA night. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes out for 35 plus, 40 plus here tonight. So I'll wait. Let's just say they come out struggling again like they did against the Brooklyn Nets. I think there's a good opportunity, whether you wait in the second half or the late in the game, if they are either trailing or trying to pull away. That's where we see Oklahoma City have that one quarter where they just show up and take care of business.
128.5 is that total, my bad.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I mean, look, they put up 100 and what was it, 29 against the Thunder, 128, 130, 130. So they've been around this number at least in 4 straight games. SF9 pointing out that Dyson Daniels, that matchup, I think he's going to be matched up on SGA here tonight, so that's going to be a fun one to watch. We'll do our Underdog Fantasy entry at the end of the show. So if you want to stay tuned for that, if you need another prop, look out for us then for that prop there. Yeah. All right, next game on the board, we'll get over to the Portland Trailblazers. They are in Brooklyn to take on the Nets. Nets catching 2 points here at home with a total of 220. Injury report. Start here with the Portland Trailblazers. Denny Avdia is questionable with a left quad contusion. Jeremy Grant is also questionable with right knee soreness. DeAndre Ayton is out here tonight. And then Matisse Thybulle and Robert Williams are also out for this game. So, again, it should be the Donovan Clingan at least start. I know he hasn't been really getting the minutes for whatever reason from Chauncey Billups, but that's the injury report for the Blazers. Questionable tags on Avdia and Grant, and then guys that are out, Robert Williams, DeAndre Ayton, and Matisse Thybulle. For the Brooklyn Nets, Nick Claxton is available to play. Noah Clowney is out. D'Angelo Russell is out as well, and Dark Whitehead is out. No Cam Thompson on the, or no Cam Thomas on the injury report for the Brooklyn Nets, so he should be out there for this team. Nonetheless, Portland laying 2 on the road here, Lonte.
Yeah, man, one of my favorite plays. I love Brooklyn in the spot, man. I think Portland a little bit overvalued coming into this game. The score looked a lot better than what the game played out to be against Washington. I was on Washington, and they kind of just gave it away, just like typical Washington fashion, which is what they want to do, be competitive and lose. And I think I mentioned it in the handicap on Wednesday. But I mean, Brooklyn's really good covering numbers, 7-3 ATS the last 10. They've held their opponents under 105 points per game in the last 10 games. So the defensive intensity is there. I mean, they shot 61 threes last game, like you mentioned, with against Oklahoma City. They made 23. So I don't know if they're going to quite keep up that level of three-point efficiency. I mean, Cam Thomas might get up, 20 himself. He hasn't played in 24 games. But back in mid-January, Brooklyn beat up on his team 132-114, and they were 3.5-point dogs. So I like Brooklyn here, man. I'm going to go Brooklyn first quarter, and I'll take the +2 as well. They're the best first quarter ATS team in the league. At home, they're probably middling, but I think this is a perfect spot for them to come in. A game that they blew against Oklahoma City, which would, I guess they're kind of doing the same thing. They kind of want to be competitive and lose as well. But yeah, I like Brooklyn in this spot. Cam Thomas coming back. I think him along with Cam Johnson, I think both of those guys will be able to have extreme efficient nights here against this Portland defense. The only thing that worries me is Brooklyn's three-point defense with Simons and Shaedon Sharp have been playing extremely well. So I think they got to hunker down defensively on the three-point line. But even with that, they've still been holding teams under 105 points per game. So I think we see a low-scoring, low-possession game. I like Portland in the points. More importantly, I like them in the first quarter.
Yeah, look, Brooklyn is 1.5 games out of that 10 spot in that play-in tournament. I'm not sure if they're vying for it or not, but it's a conversation piece. And like you mentioned, they've been playing some pretty good basketball. I know they've lost 2 games in a row, but I think the part that makes me nervous that this team is only 9-19 straight up at home thus far this season are the Brooklyn Nets. They've done a fantastic job on the defensive side, but does that fall off now a little bit with Cam Thomas coming back, and does this turn into more of a shootout? And we know that, like you mentioned, he's going to get up the shots. I understand why they are favored here, the Portland Trailblazers, but I think this could sneakily be a lower scoring game. Like the Brooklyn Nets, like you mentioned, they've been holding their opponents, at least outside of Thunder, but who's not been able to do that is to hold that offense down. But they've been pretty good at home, at least defensively. And Portland, there was a stretch there where they were playing pretty good defense, but it's just 2 teams, honestly, that are, probably trying to tank here. But I guess by default, because of how bad the Eastern Conference is, especially the bottom half, that the Brooklyn Nets find themselves vying for that play-in tournament spot. I'm not sure if they're going to really want to go for it or not. But I'd take the points here with the Brooklyn Nets here as well. I like the under in the game at 220 as well for this matchup here. So that's what I'm looking at. The Nets have won 6 out of their last 10 games, as well as the Portland Trailblazers. Blazers have won 3 games in a row as well. But won't be betting this game, but since we pick every game, that's where I'm at on this particular matchup. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Lonte, next game on the board, we've got those New York Knicks. They are headed to Memphis to take on the Grizzlies. Grizzlies are laying 4 points in this game with a total of 244.5. Injury report. I'll start here with the New York Knicks. Where are the Knicks? All right. So Josh Hart is questionable with a right knee injury. Mitchell Robinson has been upgraded to questionable for the first time this season. I think the expectation is that he does make his debut here tonight. And then Karl Anthony Towns is also listed as questionable. He's linked with the left knee injury. He did miss the last game for the New York Knicks. My gut will tell me I don't expect him to be out there, Lonte, for this game. But we'll wait to find out official news about Karl Anthony Towns. For the Memphis Grizzlies side of things, only questionable tag you have is Desmond Bane, who's dealing with a left groin soreness. Other than that, everybody is a go for the Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies laying 4 at home, hosting the New York Knickerbockers. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, Brooklyn was one of my favorite games. This is my top favorite game, man. I love Memphis in the spot. Don't think Towns will be able to play. Mitchell Robinson likely coming back, which doesn't mean much short term. I think that's more so long term. Probably getting him ramped up with a few minutes, maybe 13 to 15 minutes to just
Yeah,
get
I was
him.
gonna say like 10 to 15.
Yeah, something like that to get him going.
Yeah.
Knicks embarrassed Memphis 143-106 last month. They were 3.5 point favorites there. Knicks have not been doing good. Cover numbers 2-8 ATS the last 10. Memphis, man, they're gonna dictate the pace. I think that notes. I think I've seen one team kind of slow them down pace wise, one or two teams, but other than that, man, they just play at their pace, which is the best in the NBA. The Knicks want to play at a slower pace, especially without Towns in the lineup.
Yeah.
So he already doesn't protect the rim. So now they lost their rookie center to a torn meniscus for I think like 3 or 4 weeks. I can't say the guy's name, but he was a rookie. I forgot his name. But so they're a little bit thin in the front court. So Jaren Jackson Jr., Zach Edey, those guys should feast. Not to mention Ja Morant getting downhill, get to the rim. So Memphis 17-10-1 ATS at home. When they're favorite 24-13-2. The issue with Memphis that I always have and I'll continue to have is their dribble drive defense is just so bad. Their 3-point percentage defense looks good, but if you just like look at some of them, I watch Memphis a lot, so I got a little bit more intel on them. But their dribble drive defense, they overhelp a lot. When they double, like they're digging and they don't get back. So a lot of wide open threes. So if you want to look at some 3-point makes for like Mikal Bridges or Miles McBride or somebody like that, like I would look at something like that on the Knicks side. But overall, I think this is a great spot for Memphis. I'm looking to take them like first quarter, first half, and full game. They're fourth best first quarter ATS team in the league. The Knicks 8-19-1 ATS in first quarter road games, so that coincides exactly with what I want. And when's the last time we seen a Tibbs team that was 21st defensive rating wise? Like, so I think that the Knicks gonna need some help here. I think Memphis blows them out. Not to mention the Knicks horrible 3-point percentage defense. Memphis top 10 in 3-point offense. So I think we see humongous effort from Memphis. So I'm going first quarter, first half, and I'll lay the 4.
Yeah, and that's been my gripe all season about this New York Knicks team has been defensively. Like I would thought they would have been one of the top, at least top 5. I'm not saying the number 1 best team, but at least a top 5. But like you mentioned, season long, they're 21st. In the last 10,
and you got two perimeter. You got two like perimeter defenders. Like that's why you got OG. That's why you got Mikal Bridges for the perimeter defense. So Josh Hart too.
Over the last 10 games, they're the second worst defensive rated team in the entire association, only trailing the Phoenix Suns. So, I like the Memphis side here, minus the 4. I look at Memphis team total over, and also the fact that as bad as their defense has been consistently throughout the season, offensively they've been struggling here a little bit as well. I know since they've returned from the All-Star break, they've cracked 110 or more points just twice of the 4 games, but they only put up 113 against the Chicago Bulls, 105 each against Boston and Cleveland. And then in the last game, they only scored 110 against the Philadelphia 76ers here. So, this is a good spot here for the Memphis Grizzlies. Lay the 4. Look at their team total to go over. I would expect a big game here either from Triple J and or Ja Morant, just in case Desmond Bane's not able to go in this game. So look out for that for sure. So Memphis minus the 4 here, team total over would be the look for this matchup. You have anything else for Knicks Grizzlies?
Yeah, well, each team's allowing over 120 points per game the last 10. So I agree with I know the Knicks struggle, but they're going to have to get up a lot of threes because you got Edey in the middle, and also you got Jaren just like roaming, so he's going to clean up anything going to the rim. So I think the Knicks are going to have to hit some threes if they want to stay in it. So yeah, I like the over as well.
All right. Before we get over to the next game on the schedule here for tonight, let me tell everyone about our friends over at Rhythm. Hey, look, Rhythm, they've been around with us for a while, and they're throwing an epic March Madness party. And you're invited. All Rhythm users are invited to first for watch party Wednesday, March 19th at the Awesome Stadium Swim at Circa Las Vegas. Free drinks, plus you get to hang out with the guys from the Sports Gambling Podcast and the College Experience. And it gets better. Rhythm is also giving away a $250 March Madness future for one random lucky Rhythm user. Even if you can't make the party, you can still win the future bet. Just sign up for your 7-day free trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Come by and use Rhythm to help you fill out your bracket and make some bets while you are there. A free party plus a chance at a $250 future bet. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for the details. Again, that's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for all the details. And of course, we're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. NBA, NHL, college basketball, whatever your sport, you can cash in big with Underdog Fantasy Pick'em. Underdog is offering a Luka Doncic discount for every Lakers game for the rest of the regular season, so look out for that later today over on Underdog Fantasy. Also, for football diehards, Pick'em projections for select players' 40-yard dash times during this week's NFL Combine are also available. Stay tuned at the end of the episode. Lonte and I will put together our Underdog Fantasy entry for the Friday night card. So sign up with promo code NBA SGPN to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to 1,000 in bonus credits. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Make sure that promo code NBA SGPN. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Next game on the board, we got the Indiana Pacers there in South Beach to take on the Miami Heat. Heat are catching 4.5 points here at home with a total of 225.5. Injury report for the Indiana Pacers, pretty clean. Only questionable tag is going to be TJ McConnell. He's dealing with a right ankle sprain. For the Miami Heat, Bam is questionable. He has a right calf contusion. Tyler Hero is available, and Nikola Jovic is out. He has a right hand injury, which is broken. And Khalil Ware is available to play. He has a left ankle discomfort. And Andrew Wiggins is questionable here tonight with a right ankle sprain. So questionable tags on Bam and Andrew Wiggins. Available are Tyler Hero and Khalil Ware. Heat catching 4.5 here at home. Lonte against the Pacers, total 225.5. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I like the not the Pacers. I like the Heat here, man. If you look at it, I think the drafting of Khalil Ware and the emergence of him, being able to get into the lineup so fast is helping Bam as well, because now he can play his natural position, which is the 4 and not the 5. He unlocked a lot with them when he was the 5 when Jimmy was there, but now that Jimmy's not there, he can go back to his normal position, and he's been flourishing. I mean, if you look at his numbers since Jimmy left, or even while Khalil Ware has emerged, and when he's in the lineup, they're a lot more efficient. He's a lot better defensively as well. And, I mean, he's already good defensively as is, but I think it's a good matchup for Miami. They have the requisite depth to match up with Indiana's depth. And I think so. Basically, at home, Miami hasn't played. So they played the least amount of home games in the NBA up to this point. So 17 of their final 25 games are going to be at home. I think that's big for them. And catching a number like this, I think it's a good spot for Miami. Tyler Hero has been really good. And I mean, I guess somebody's against me because it opened 3.5 and now it's at 4.5. I like Miami in the spot. Wiggins, I'm expecting him to play. Both of these guys, Bam and Wiggins, were on the injury report for the past few games, and they ended up playing. So as long as we got Wiggins and Bam in the lineup, I think Miami is going to be the side here. So give me Miami. I'll take the points.
Miami has struggled against this Pacers team since the 2022 season. So they've played 10 times prior to tonight. Heat are 4-6 straight up, 4-6 ATS. The over is 7-3 in those games when these two teams match up. And then when they've played in South Beach, Miami has lost 2 of the 5 games, and they're just 1-4 against the number in those spots, and 4-1 towards the over since that 2022 span. And for whatever reason this season, I know that the Heat have been a profitable angle when they are catching points at home, but that just hasn't been the case this season for this team. It's the 8th instance this season where they're catching points at home, 2-5 straight up, 2-5 against a number. That's only 28.6%. The over is also 5-2. So it just seems like they're struggling defensively at home in those home dog situations. And they've now lost 4 of the last 5 games where they have been a home underdog. So I I would look at the Pacers in this spot here again. I want to know the status of Bam and Andrew Wiggins in this game, but I think that the Pacers have been playing some pretty good basketball. They've won 6 out of their last 10 games. They're 15 and 14 straight up on the road.
Mhm.
They have been a better home team, have the obviously the Pacers, but here being on the road here, let me see what their ATS number is on the road.
Yeah, they've been winning, but they haven't been really covering like that. Like they've been winning a ton of games. I think if you look at since January 1st, they're probably one of the better teams, like top 3, top 5 teams,
Yeah,
as far as win percentage goes, and just how they're playing test wise. But they haven't been covering
yeah.
numbers. I think they're 3-7 ATS last 10.
Yeah, so on the road this season for the Pacers, 15 and 14 straight up, 14 and 15 ATS. So haven't been a profitable team. And they're 14, 14 and 1 on the total there. So gun to my head, I'd go with the Pacers here, but I just again want to see the status of Bam and Andrew Wiggins in this game for the Miami Heat. All right, next game on the board, we've got the Toronto Raptors there in Chicago to take on the Bulls. Bulls are laying 2 points at home with a total of 234. Injury report to start here with Toronto. They are going to be without, of course, Brandon Ingram and PJ Tucker, of course, and Garrett Temple. Scotty Barnes is officially listed as questionable. He has a left hip contusion. For the Chicago Bulls, Ayo DeSumo is questionable here tonight with a left shoulder injury. Jalen Smith is also in concussion protocol. He's questionable. And they have listed Nikola Vucevic as doubtful here tonight with a right calf sprain. Patrick Williams is also out. So going to be a little bit thin up front without Nikola Vucevic, Patrick Williams, and then Jalen Smith questionable. And like I mentioned, Ayo DeSumo is also questionable here tonight. But nonetheless, Bulls laying 2 points at home against the Raptors, total 234, Lonte.
Yeah, so it would be Raptors or nothing for me. It would be great if Scotty Barnes can play. I think he was. They did some. The coaching did some pressers, and they were saying they wanted to kind of monitor it. They didn't want anything to be long term. So I'm interested to see if he does play. If is he kind of limited or like what the deal is with that. But the Bulls have pretty much owned them this year. I mean, small sample size, but 2-0 straight up in ATS. Both of those were in Toronto. Bulls scored exactly 122 points in both of those games, which is kind of interesting. And they almost blew the fourth quarter lead. I think they were up 16, 17 in that first game, and Toronto came storming back. But, like, Toronto's been really good ATS over the long haul, but as of late, man, they haven't been covering numbers. 1-4 ATS last 5. And on the opposite end, Chicago's got 4 straight covers, all as a dog, though. So now they're laying point. Well, basically, they're laying points and not catching a number like 6, 8, or 9. And again, I just think that this is a tougher game for Chicago with how they match up with Toronto, especially with Jakob Poeltl being back. So he should be able to have a big night inside. So I would go Toronto or nothing. I like the over a lot more. I mean, both teams top 15 in pace. Both have been over teams last 10. I think 6-4 for Toronto and like 7-3 for Chicago. Both teams also turn the ball over at a decent clip, so we're going to look at a lot of fast break points. Chicago's 120 plus scored, 120 plus points allowed in 3 of the last 5. Yeah, I think we see both teams get to like 120 this year. So I like the over more. If I had to take a side, it would be Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto, they've only won 5 of their 27 games on the road, but they're actually 15 and 12 against the number at 55.6%. Bulls this season, I know I want to say it's the opposite or the same story that they've been pretty good on the road and not at home, but let me double check here. Yeah, so 31 games they've already played at home have the Bulls 10 and 21 straight up, 14, 16 and 1 ATS. And I want to say this may be like the first or second time they're favored at home this season. Actually, this is the 10th time they've been favored at home. 3-6 straight up, 3-6 against the number. So I think Raptors to cover the number or get the outright victory here, I think would be the look. My favorite play in this game, Lonte, is going to be Josh Giddey, PRA over, or if you want to take the rebounds and assists to go over.
Yep.
Especially without Nikola Vucevic in the lineup. Josh Giddey has done very, very well. I know somebody earlier was asking about a prop there, but this is what I am going to play. So just to put it into context here, I just had it in front of me. The screen just went out, but here I have it in front of me. So this will be the fourth game. Again, Nikola Vucevic is listed as doubtful here tonight. But Giddey without Vucevic in the 3 games thus far is averaging 21 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, and 8.3 assists. And his PRA right now is set at 32.5. He's gone over that in all 3 games. And his rebounds and assists, they were hovering around, I want to say it was like 13.5, but I'm pretty sure the market has probably caught up to this by now. Let me see what the RA is. It's at 15.5 still. So he's gone over it in all 3 games. In the last 2 games, without Nikola Vucevic, 16 rebounds and 6 assists, 8 rebounds and 12 assists. So he's gotten 20 plus in each of the last two games without Nikola Vucevic in the lineup there. So Raptors would be the side for me, and I would go Josh Giddey PRA over if you just want to go rebounds and assist over. I don't think you can go wrong either one of those ways. Anything else for this game, Lonte?
Nope, that's it. I think we covered everything pretty much.
All right, next game on the board, we got the New Orleans Pelicans and the Phoenix Suns right back at it here tonight. After they did just play last night, Phoenix is laying 7.5 here again with a total of 234. Last night, it was a 124-116 victory for the New Orleans Pelicans here. As far as the injury report does go, keep an eye out if Bradley Beal plays in this game or not, because he did not play last night. But Tyus Jones filled in very nicely in that spot there. Unfortunately, it wasn't a losing effort for the Phoenix Suns. Suns, I think, are going in the wrong direction. I don't think they make the playoffs here. I don't think Zion plays here tonight again because this is a back-to-back, and he's coming off of his first career triple-double as well last night. 27 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists in 31 minutes for Zion. They had 3 different guys last night, Lonte, that had 10 rebounds for the New Orleans Pelicans. So they've just been struggling on the rebounding side of things as the Phoenix Suns. But if I told you that Durant and Devin Booker combined for 64 points last night, you would have probably thought they would have won the game. But again, we talked about it earlier with the Knicks, the Phoenix Suns are the worst defensive rated team over the last 10 games. But they're right back at it here tonight. What are your thoughts?
Man, it's the fade or pass for Phoenix, man. I just don't like the body language. Don't like the results. I mean, 3-7 ATS last 10, 8-19-1 ATS at home. They're 1-8 straight up, 1-5 straight up last 6, 2-10 straight up last 12. Zion was asked about his availability, and he's like, well, we're going to have to talk to the higher up. So my guess is that he doesn't play, which should give us a higher number on the Pelicans. I mean, the Pelicans have won and covered 3 straight. They've won both meetings this year against the Suns. I mean, until the Suns play to a decent level or show me something in a consistent basis, can't lay points with them. So I'll take the Pelicans. It's kind of short and sweet. It's not really it's just a fade of Phoenix more than anything. I don't really have any numbers to back it up outside of those that I just gave with Phoenix being horrible. And just, I mean, at what point do they just, it's like over? Like, they're probably not going to make the playoffs. Like, you just got to continue fading them. And Pelicans playing hard. I mean, those guys are playing hard. And if Zion does play, then that's great. But if he doesn't, I think we get a better number on the Pelicans. So I'll be interested to see how that plays out. But I'll be on the Pelicans or nothing.
Yeah, same here. I think Phoenix, there's a lot more going on in the locker room and everything. They really botched the team chemistry when it came to the trade deadline because they were trying to trade Kevin Durant. I think that just kind of rubbed him the wrong way. And it's not like the effort is not there from Kevin Durant because he's still scoring, but it's just when you talk about chemistry, and I guess just focus and motivation, like I don't think those factors are there right now for this Phoenix Suns team. And I think we all know this is going to be the last season for Kevin Durant playing with the Phoenix Suns. We'll see where he ends up in the offseason. There'll be an offseason conversation. But also, Kevin Durant last night played 36 minutes. Devin Booker played 42 minutes last night. Tyus Jones played 39 minutes last night in a losing effort. So,
you want KD on the Rockets?
I'd take him, man. Look, I think we need a closer. We need a closer when it comes down to those clutch moments. So I think KD can fit that mold very well. And at least we know that consistently we have a guy. I'll keep on saying we, but we're talking about we already have him. But it would be a player like Kevin Durant that we know could walk into averaging 25, 26 points.
Yeah, if he wants to win a title, we'll give us a chance, like the best chance.
Yeah. I don't think it's
Houston,
with Phoenix. Houston, I think Dallas
Memphis.
has been rumored.
Memphis is home run. Some
Yeah,
people are talking about
Memphis.
OKC too. I don't know how that works, but
I do think that OKC needs another score
they got all the
next to.
picks, they got the players, like
Yeah,
they got so many, and especially if they get that, they got the Philly pick too, right?
yeah, but the Rockets also have Phoenix's first round pick for I think this upcoming draft as well.
Oh,
So
okay, yeah,
they may want to trade back for all the picks that the Rockets have.
yeah, man, that'll be yeah. I think, I mean, I think Memphis is the best spot for him.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next game on the schedule. We've got the Minnesota Timberwolves. They are in Utah to take on the Jazz. Timberwolves laying 2.5 points here on the road with a total of 226.5. Minnesota did play last night against the LA Lakers in a losing effort, so they are in a back-to-back situation here. So the injury report, not yet one submitted. Anthony Edwards did pick up technical foul number 15 and 16, so that turns into an automatic one-game suspension. I'm not sure how the rules work if they. What's the word I'm looking for? Not challenge, but the word's just kind of going over my head,
Rescind.
right? Yeah, so if they want to get that technical foul rescinded, we'll see. But he picked it up last night, 15 and 16, so he should be out for this game here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So for the Utah Jazz side of things, on their injury report, questionable tags on John Collins, Lauri Markkanen, and Colin Sexton. So see if those guys are going to play tonight. And then, of course, Taylor Hendricks. And that is pretty much it. That's going to be out, at least for tonight. So questionable tags on Collins, Markkanen, and Sexton. Utah catching 2.5 here at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves. What are your thoughts on this matchup here, Lonte?
Yeah, I think it's a bad spot for Minnesota with or without Ant. To be honest, I mean, I just think tough game last night. Expended a lot of energy coming back yet again. I think they came back 2 times in the past 4 nights to make it kind of competitive with OKC and then the Lakers. So Utah's been sitting at home. I like Utah early. So first quarter, first half, they're 20-9 ATS at home in the first quarter. As long as we can get Markkanen and as long as Markkanen plays, I'm fine with that. So I would look at Utah first quarter, first half. I would sprinkle on them to kind of win this game. Minnesota, like without Ant, I don't really trust them. They don't really have a true identity without him. With him, it's a totally different thing. And I know DiVincenzo is he like out or?
So yesterday, I didn't watch the Lakers game, but he was upgraded to questionable. Let me see if
I don't know if he played or not.
play
I didn't
last
watch that game either.
Let me see.
Let's see if he played.
So box score, yeah, he played 23 minutes last night, had 9 points, 3 of 6 from 3-point land, 5 rebounds, 6 assists.
Yeah, so I mean, the good thing if you're a Minnesota fan is you get to see the youth. Terrence Shannon has been playing really good, and Rob, you get to see a lot of Rob without Ant. So I'll be interested to see how they handle it in this spot on a back-to-back. But I think Utah early is going to be the best play, and then you want to come back on Minnesota maybe second half.
Yeah, I think from a player prop perspective, maybe look out for Naz Reid here tonight. He's scoring the basketball because he had a really bad shooting night last night. He was 1 of 10 from the floor or 5 from 3. Did finish the game with 12 rebounds. I don't think Rudy Gobert plays in this game, being back in Utah. So I think that's a good call on Shannon Jr. He did have 25 points last night in 29 minutes, 9 of 15 from the floor. So I like Utah on the spot, whether it's early or full game. I think that Minnesota right now is just reeling a little bit. It's going to take a collective effort from the Minnesota Timberwolves. And again, I think the tired legs would catch up to them in the second half for Minnesota, just because you're playing in altitude here tonight, right? So I just think this is a tough spot here for Minnesota. But every time I've doubted them in those tough spots, they've actually come out and
right.
won games. So take that with a grain of salt. But I do like the Utah Jazz side here at +2 here. Not much on the total for me. If anything, I would look at the under in this spot here, Lonte. But you have anything for the total?
No, I don't. I can see it going both ways. Utah's generally been playing like overs because their defense can't stop anybody, but they've had a mix of lineups. Like they've had like 4 and 5 guys out at a time, and then they've had 2 and 3 guys out at a time. So it's kind of hard to get a measure of their actual they got a lot of variance to them. Like it's hard to capture their real ceiling and floor because they've been playing just so many different guys. So yeah, I would stay away from that.
All right, last game of the night. We've got the battle of the LA teams, the LA Clippers. They will be in crypto.com arena to take on the Lakers. Lakers are catching 4.5 points here at home with a total of 220. As we mentioned, Lakers did get the victory last night after the game. Pretty much questionable tags on both LeBron and Luka. My guess would be Luka sits tonight and then maybe LeBron plays, but I would not be shocked, Lonte, if both of those guys did sit here tonight. Just kind of looking ahead on their schedule here for the Lakers. So they've got the Clippers tonight, and then they play again on, I believe it's Sunday. I think they're on a primetime game.
Yep, they got them Sunday, Friday.
Yeah,
and
so
Sunday.
they play again, the Clippers on Sunday. So my guess would be that they probably sit both LeBron and Luka here tonight.
Yeah, me too. Because they got a tough stretch coming up. In the next 10 games they go after they got the Clippers twice. They get the Pelicans. They got Knicks, Celtics, sprinkling the Nets in there, but that's a road game. Bucks, Nuggets, Suns, Spurs. Nuggets again. So
yeah. The only questionable tag for the Clippers side of things will be Norman Powell. So James Harden, Kawhi Leonard both go in this game.
I'm pretty sure he'll play. You see the Lakers on the schedule, you play.
4.5, the number here for the Clippers here, Lonte.
Yeah, tough to call, man. I want to see at least one of Luka or LeBron playing. So tough to call right now, but I would, kind of go with the Lakers and the points. I mean, the Clippers haven't been as good. I know Powell's been out some time, and then they had some time with Kawhi being out. Harden's been okay. Bogdanovich is coming on as well. Luka, I would love to see play, man, because I think his point total would be a little bit lower than what we're accustomed to seeing because he's been under in every Laker game. So he's been 6 straight unders. Lakers 4-2 with him, but he kills the Clippers like historically playoff. I mean, we've seen him in the playoffs and regular season. I mean, he averages 32.6 in 18 career games versus the Clippers. So I would love to have Luka playing. If LeBron wants to sit, I mean, fine, but at least one of those guys I would love to play. And it's been, a resurgence for the Lakers against the Clippers. I mean, they've won 4 of their last 6, and this was before, the Clippers had won 11 straight versus them. So they split in the first 2 straight up in ATS. Both games were in Intuit Dome, and Lakers were 8.5. They won by 25. Clippers were -4.5. They won by 14. So I think if we can get one of Luka or LeBron, I would prefer LeBron. I mean, I would prefer Luka, but I think if one plays, the other one plays. I don't think either one sits. So I think it's either they both sit or they both play. I don't think it's in between. But I'll take the points for security. I'm worried about Hachimura. Like, I don't know if his
he left the game last night, right?
Yeah, his leg was. I'm worried about that because he was a key piece in what they were doing. I mean, and the Clippers. I mean, 2-8 ATS last 10, 5 straight non-covers. So the Lakers can get downhill too against the Clippers defense. So I think we can take the Lakers here plus the points, and I do like the under as well. Lakers held opponents to 100 or less in 3 of the last 4. They played 4 straight unders. Each team played a game that I mentioned earlier where they both struggled to get over 100 points. They play at the exact same pace. They don't shoot a lot of threes. They don't make a lot of threes. That's a perfect recipe for an under. So I'll take Lakers under.
Yeah, Lakers this season on back-to-back situations, 5-2 straight up, 4-3 against the number. They are 5-2 towards the under there as well. So they continue to play really, really good defense. I was surprised to see that number on the total yesterday between the Wolves and the Lakers at 229. I think a lot of that had to do with what the Wolves were doing against the Thunder. But again, the Lakers have been really good defensively. Shockingly, honestly, because we thought, or at least I thought, that with LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves in that backcourt, that at least the backcourts would have success against them. But they've done a really good job of game planning. Give a lot of credit to JJ Redick. Yeah, it's tough to call again without knowing if both Luka and LeBron's status here tonight. Yeah, I would take the points in this situation as well, and then just come back on whoever doesn't cover win the game tonight on Sunday, because they're right back at it again on Sunday night to cap off the weekend. But yeah, so Lakers catching the points plus 4.5, depending on LeBron and Luka's status, and then under would be the look here as well. All right, so that is the last game of the night here on the Friday night card. 2 orders of business. That'll be our lock and dog, and then we'll put together our underdog fantasy entry here for tonight. Lonte, you want to lead us off?
Man, for sure. Let's go lock. Let's go with Memphis minus the what are they? Are they 4.5 right now? I know it's kind of moving.
I see a 4 right now on DraftKings.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that some money is about to come in because I don't think Towns is going to play. But yeah, we'll get it. We'll lock it in at 4. I mean, perfect spot for him in a revenge game. They literally got obliterated by the Knicks in I think it was a primetime setting as well. Maybe not a primetime game, but it was like one of the only games on. I think it was on a Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. But man, this is a perfect spot for them. They've heard the noise about them not being able to beat the top tier teams. I think they're like 3-7 or 3-8 against the top teams. So perfect spot to get right here. I like Memphis first quarter, first half, full game. But just for the sake of just the best bet segment, let's go with the full game minus the 4. And for the dog, I'm going with Miami. I like this Miami team. I like the way they're playing. As long as we can get Bam and Wiggins in the lineup. So if Bam and Wiggins are in, I'm all in on Miami plus the 4.5 and to win the game outright. I just think they'll be able to handle all of the things that the Pacers will be able to do as far as the pace and their pressure on defense. TJ McConnell being out is big for them because they're going to have a secondary ball handler or play Tyrese Halliburton a lot of minutes. And the Miami Heat have a ton of guys on the wing that can kind of help defend him. So I like that aspect of it. So I'll take Miami at home as a home dog here to get it done.
All right. All right. For my lock, I think I'll just take the under in the Clippers and the Lakers game. Just continue riding how well both teams have been playing defensively, especially the Lakers since the All-Star break. I don't expect a lot of pace. Both these teams don't play out a lot of pace. And again, if both LeBron and Luka sit here tonight, that just puts a lot more pressure on guys like Austin Reeves and some of those guys coming off the bench to score the basketball here tonight, which I don't think they'll be able to do. So, give me the under 220 in Clippers and the Lakers. For my dog, kind of like Utah here tonight. The numbers on the move is at plus 120. I thought I would get plus odds on the Josh Giddey double-double, but it's at minus 105.
Go with the triple-double.
I mean, look, there's no doubt that he can get there. Let's go Jazz. The first quarter you mentioned has been a profitable angle for them, but that's only at even money. I'll just take them full game on the money line. I don't think we don't expect Anthony Edwards to play here tonight, just because again he picked up 15 and 16 last night. But again, just a really bad spot. It's just a situation that, hey, you're on a back-to-back situation, a pretty big letdown spot coming after playing the Lakers. You lost the game. You're going into altitude. I think the tired legs catch up to them in the second half here. I think Jazz can keep this game competitive and win the game outright. So I see a plus 120 right now, currently over on DraftKings as my dog here for tonight. So I'll take the Jazz here at home as my dog of the day. All right. Last order of business here, Lonte. Underdog Fantasy entry for the Friday card. Again, if you don't have an account, make sure you guys get over there, underdogfantasy.com. Make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN. First time deposit offer 50% of up to $1,000 in bonus cash for Underdog Fantasy here. All right, where do we want to start here for tonight?
Well, I mean, we can start with Giddey if you want to go PRA.
Yeah, I like Giddey. I already played that for him. So PRA sitting at 33.5. I like that. What else are we looking at?
I like
something
Quickly.
From Knicks and Grizzlies.
Yeah, we can. But I like Quickly's PA.
Okay, same game.
Higher, yeah, I like it higher.
Quickly.
And I mean Memphis. Man, there's so many ways you can go. I like Bridges threes made, McBride threes made. I like Jaws points, Jaren, PR. Man, it's a ton I like in that game. So I mean, you could take a. What do you like in that specific game?
So I don't expect Cat to play here tonight.
Right.
And then of course Josh Hart. I don't know the status of him, so I think it would have to be someone on the Grizzlies side of things. I think this could be the jaw game here tonight. Also, Desmond Bain is also questionable on the injury report. So I don't see Jaw's projections up. Where's Jaw? Oh, there he is. So we could go either points and assists higher or just points.
Yeah, I would go just points. What is his? Because with the
Points
Memphis offense, he doesn't do a lot of the like. His usage is down. It's not like So
Yeah, so his points are at 22.5.
yeah, I like that higher. Yeah.
All right. So we'll roll with that. So we'll go Josh Giddey, points, rebounds, and assists, higher 33.5. Emmanuel Quickly, points and assists, higher 26.5. And then John Morant, higher 22.5 points here for tonight. So that's a 6x entry. So if all three of those end up being correct on the standard payout, every $10 that you do put in, you'll get a return of $60 here for the Underdog Fantasy entry for the games here for tonight. All right, that's going to wrap it up here for this edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Month of February in the books. We'll be talking about March come next week, so should be a lot of fun winding down the NBA season before we know it. The postseason will be here for the NBA. But Lonte, anything else you want to mention before we get out of here?
That's it, man. Good luck this weekend, and yeah, man, and we get to enjoy a lot of good basketball for the rest of the month, both collegiate and professional.
Yep. So it should be a lot of fun. Again, like I mentioned, we'll be back next week. As far as our picks go for the weekend, make sure you guys get over to the website, sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Just hit that NBA tab, NBA picks, and you'll see our picks up there for the weekend before we are back next week. For the 64 of you watching, go ahead and do us a favor. Hit that like button on your way out on the stream. And if you can do us a favor, if you haven't already subscribed to the NBA Gambling Podcast YouTube channel, please go in and do so for us. We'd greatly appreciate it. All right, we'll be back next week, like I mentioned, for the NBA card. Till then, good luck with your bets. Let's break these books off, and always remember to let it ride.
Basketball, give me the ball because I'm gonna